the seas. I've had more than my share. I'm tired of giving my love and getting nowhere. Nowhere. What I need is somebody who really cares. I really need a lover who wants to be there. It's been so long since I've touched a wanting hand.
For the second half of Plane Time here at Orlando Studios, and this is Florida Aviation Network, and we're having a great time here with our folks from SkyDiveMex, Alex and Alejandro, and we want to get back into develop more of your business and how you do it safely, and again, the maintenance aspect of your business. But what is what's the industry looking like for skydiving? Because unless you follow it, unless you're really into it, a lot of people have never even thought about skydiving other than when they hear about it on the news that there's been another skydive accident. But there's so much going on in the industry. Is it growing or is it shrinking? Is there more of the aspects coming, or what is the status? And right now we're in the middle of this pandemic, this COVID-19. That probably hasn't helped your business a hell of a lot. So tell us a little bit about the growth of the industry or the lack of growth.
Well, it is growing. It is a growing industry. It goes very tight with technology. So every day, the technology is getting advanced, and it's the same as with the airplanes, with the avionics. For example, 10 years ago, the altimeters were not digital at all. Now we have altimeters that could be GPS tracked, digital altimeters, altimeters on your helmet, even visualize altimeters with colors. So technology has been growing, helping the sport to grow, and like the aviation, the more technology helps to advance it, the more safe it is. You have now autopilots for the airplanes, landing coordinates, everything is in a growth, an expansion. Actually, for example, in Mexico, the sport as a skydiving didn't advance that much in the past decade as in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we are more connected, we can grow the business or the sport hand to hand.
You just mentioned something, Alejandro, I haven't thought about, but you said you have visual displays in your helmet?
Yes.
But like a heads-up display, or
like a LED. It's a LED. LED color. So, for example, if you're jumping at 13,000 feet, it will be blue, and as you're descending, it will change color to purple, then orange, then yellow, and then when you're in a critical altitude, it will come red. So
did it ever flash red?
Yes, it flashes.
Just before you hit the ground?
No, before you need to open your chute.
Okay. I had to say that to break it up a little bit, because it's very exhilarating as you're literally free falling.
It's fast.
Yeah. There's no concept of speed other than the wind going by you.
Exactly, because the orientation, it doesn't change. For example, when you jump out of on a bungee jump, you can see what you're going to hit with if the bungee doesn't work. But in the airplane or in the skydiving, you will not see the floor coming at you that fast as you are doing it. So that's why you need technology devices as your altimeter, visual altimeters or hearing altimeter or visual one.
And so you say hearing, there's an oral tone that you can have,
It's just a little bit.
a
right?
little beep.
A little bit that tells you how high you are.
You are.
And it will let you know how many seconds you have before you can deploy your parachute. So it's a good tool. It's a great tool because sometimes you're flying with not visual on, you have no contact with your altimeter, so you can lose a couple of seconds, which are critical to develop your equipment. So this little alarm will help you to be ready to do it.
And you guys mentioned an acronym that I associate with. Of course, Melody reminds me of this. I have AAD, but
Automatic.
you mentioned AAD. You have AAD too?
Yes, definitely. It's
You have AAD?
I do have it. Well, in my gear.
That's Adult Attention Deficit?
No. AAD. AAD, which means,
Automatic activated deployment.
exactly.
Automated Activated
Deployment.
Deployment. Okay, so that's actually, it's a unit that you wear on your harness.
It's basically a computer that will measure the altitude and the speed. And if, for example, you pass 3,000 feet at a speed, at a free falling speed, that means you didn't deploy your parachute, and it will deploy it for you. Suppose that we are in a formation, and we smash each other on our heads, and we are not conscious. So if we are unconsciousness falling at that speed, if you hit the ground, you will blow. But this automatic device will cut the line and deploy your parachute. So it will open for you.
That's nice to know.
Yeah.
And in the old days, you had the old D-ring that you had to pull, and if you didn't pull that, it's over. It's done. It was a nice ride.
Yeah.
It was your last ride. But
You can jump out of a plane without a parachute.
you can?
Yeah, but only once.
Okay. Oh, you got me on that one, guys. And how about the age spread? Because I was in my 60s when I took my first jump. Actually, that was my last jump. But we're going to do it again. But what's your age range? What's your spread? What's the youngest parachutist that you have had with you, and the oldest?
Well, in our company, we had a 5-year-old little girl. She was barely, it doesn't matter how old you are, but as soon as you get safe on the harness, that's the basic rule that we have. And about the oldest guy that we have had, it's around 78 years old. But here in the United States, recently there was 102 years old senior that jumped from a plane, which was amazing for everybody in our community of skydivers, just to realize that have somebody at that age feeling the experience that we live, it's incredible.
It does open up another dimension, just like flying with an aircraft opens up the third dimension for people that have never flown before. But then there's flying, and then there's coming out of the airplane, a perfectly good airplane. And I will mention this quickly. Everybody that's a little bit fearful of skydiving said, "Why would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane?" I even heard Obi Young say that one time. But there is a reason to jump out of a perfectly good airplane or fall out of it, because if you ever have to do it intentionally, if you ever have an accident in the air with your aircraft, and it's just a matter of if you're wearing a parachute, it's one of the fallacies and something I'm going to pursue, by the way. You're required to have a parachute on if you do aerobatics in an aircraft,
That's
two-passenger. However, there's no requirement to have any training of how to use that parachute. So God forbid something happen while you're flying and you pop a wing or a strut lets go, and you find yourself out in the free fall. If you don't know how to assume the stability, the position, and you don't know how to because you don't have the automatic deployment system. You don't know how to pull or throw your drone shootout. You're probably not going to make it anyway. So why have the requirement of having a parachute, not having the requirement to know how to use the parachute? So that's why it was so informative for me, and thank you for kicking me out of your airplane, to know what it feels like before I have to do it. So it's good to do it on our terms first before you have to do it on someone else's terms.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well,
Please, go. Antonio, you're jumping
Actually, I
in.
was gonna say that it's a great connection you make with the tandem instructor before you jump, because literally you're putting your life in their hands. So you have about 30 minutes conversation to break the ice with them, and they explain you whatever you need to ask. All your questions they're going to be answered by them, so they will make you feel comfortable, and they usually make a couple of jokes so you can relax a little bit. But when it got serious about the safety procedures, they will let you. They need to be really sure that you understand that you are in a safety procedure about jumping from a perfectly good plane.
Yes, and also the thing of their instruction, they're testing you and trying to find out if you're alert, and because you could be a very much hazard to them and their safety.
Exactly.
If you freak out as you're in front of them, it can affect their ability to fly that machine down safely to the ground. So one thing I noticed that it was told to me, and I didn't understand it until we did it. It says, before we exit the aircraft, put your head back.
Exactly.
And I thought, well, that looks kind of goofy, because I saw the people, this is on video. I don't want to look goofy coming out of the aircraft, but I understand, because if you're looking down, and as soon as the wind hits you, it's going to throw your head back. And it could throw your head back into your instructor, and either break his nose or her nose.
Make him unconscious.
A lot of ladies get involved with skydive, and it's
Yes.
very interesting.
It's an interesting fact, right? That 70% of people that jumps, it's women's, and the other 30%, which is men's, 20% they go forced by the woman.
They go like that.
Because yes, they want to go to impress her. So women are more brave.
Yeah, I mean, it is impressive. You wouldn't think that, right? You would think that men are
Macho.
more
Yeah,
machos
so,
to go
yes.
and jump out of the plane. But once that we open the store and we start checking our numbers, 70% of our clients, of our passengers, are women. And when you pay attention, if they come with a couple, it is like that. They're like, you come with me because I want to do this. Like, okay, my love, I will.
Yes, my love. And Janini's, she's jumped with you, and Lisa,
Yes,
she's jumped with you many times, and Lisa's almost ready for free fall.
exactly. She's in love as us of the sport, and now she is ready to make her AFF course, which means
Acceleration free
free
fall.
falling, and she's just waiting for jump with us by herself.
Wow. Well, and where would we find the safety aspects of the comparison of this sport as opposed to other aviation sports? Because you used the term first in the first segment, Alex,
base jump?
of the base jump. And the base jump, you would think that would be a lot safer, because, I mean, you don't have an aircraft component to deal with. You just jump off of a big hill or a cliff.
Exactly. Well, this is what confuses like the public. In the base jump, is the first more accidental sport that it is right now. It's actually new. They develop a new parachute that deploys faster than the ones that we use. But it is because you don't have much time. On the airplane, you jump at 13,000 feet, but from a building or from a mountain, well, you don't have that time. But people that don't know these facts associate with skydiving because it employs, the parachute looks like the same, but we have two parachutes on our equipment. The regular one, the one that you use day to day, and the reserve. So with that in mind, the skydiving may look as a dangerous, but the dangerous one is the base jumping, which is completely different, doesn't involve any aviation. And I think that because skydiving involves aviation, that's a reason, or the main reason, that it has become so safe. Because aviation, you check everything, the components of the airplane will have to be rechecked, or even if they don't use, it will have a lifetime of the component that even if it's not wear, you have to change it. Same things happen with the skydiving. So that's why it's so safe, because it goes hand to hand with the aviation.
Well, guys, I can't think of a better segue to complete our interview of the safety aspects of how the technology and how our training, how the aviation training system has kind of transcended through the sport of skydiving that has been regarded by a lot of folks as very dangerous. But it's not as dangerous, I believe, as we thought it was. And hopefully, if there's any viewers here, let us know. Give us some feedback, and go to your website, SkyDiveMex.
SkyDiveMex.mx.
And the beauty part with you guys coming from advertising and marketing, I can't think of two better examples of why you would want to get involved with skydiving. And your website shows it, because you guys are just masters of how to market this tremendous sport.
Yes.
And we look forward to it. I'm even thinking about throwing Melody out of an airplane.
We'll wait for you there, Melody.
And we may even have a parachute for her, you know?
Of course.
So anyway, guys, and again, I just can't tell you how thankful we are to have you here with us at Florida Aviation Network, and sharing your sport and sharing your enthusiasm and your professionalism. And we look forward to learning more. Unless we may do a remote shoot down in Cozumel. If you've never been to Cozumel, it's a beautiful, beautiful island, and you owe it to yourself. Do it. Bucket list. Jump out of a perfectly good airplane, and that's directions of Obi Young, Captain John Carter, and all the crew here. We've got just a great crew. Even Larry Moore would jump out of a perfectly good airplane now after he's heard this. But
Yes.
guys, thank you so much for
Benji,
joining
it's
us
a
here in
pleasure for us
Orlando.
to
so
be here
much,
with
and
you.
let us have the opportunity to tell everybody as much as we enjoyed this and we had fun. And thank you for giving this space to communicate what we love to do in life.
Let's do it again.
Of course, for sure.
Thank you.
And we're going to come back to you with another plane time on another day. Maybe the same setting, may not. Maybe in Ocala, I think might be another good venue up at the Leeward Air Ranch. You never can tell where we're going to come to you from or who we're going to have. Ben Coleman, host, Plane Time, Florida Aviation Network. See you next interview.